Yeah, so I'm William Sterling. Welcome to the latest episode of You've Got Red on You. I am so excited to be joined today by Wendy Dalrymple and Grace Reynolds of the Poisoned Soup anthology fame. Um, Before we dive into the anthology, let's get to know you a little bit. For anybody that lives under a rock and doesn't know who you two are, maybe Wendy first, Grace second.
Sure. I'm Wendy Dalrymple. I write pink horror, Florida Gothic horror, and YA horror, specifically 90s YA horror. I've got a few books with Mad Axe Media and Quill and Crow, and I recently finished editing the anthology Poison Soup with my pal Grace R. Reynolds.
Woo!
Woo woo!
Yay. And I'm Grace. Hi, hello. I write poetry and dark fiction. I have two collections titled Lady of the House, which is a narrative horror poetry collection, like a novella in verse, if you will, and The Lies We Weave. And this upcoming May, I have my first novella, a slasher, set in a honky tonk called Neon Moon. And
Yay!
I had the pleasure of curating editing this anthology with Wendy.
Amazing. We stand for Western slashers
Woo,
in
yes,
here,
we do.
so amazing. For the show, for the game, if anybody hasn't seen an episode yet, basically the way this is going to go is I have three different prompts I'm going to give y'all. You will have 30 seconds on the clock, and let me get the clock out while I'm saying this. You will have 30 seconds on the clock to scour your bookshelves to find a book that you would like to recommend based on that prompt.
Okay.
It is all positive vibes. It is only books that we would recommend. But part of the chaos of it is if you cannot find it on your shelf in the 30 seconds, you may not recommend it. So you got to come up with something you can get your hands on.
I have
So,
stacks of books around me, William. I prepared.
perfect. Perfect. And Wendy, I see you've got Punk and Twisted Tales and all of your books within arm's
Of course.
reach,
Mhm.
along with like a bunch of
And a
other
few
things.
others.
Cool. Let's do this. Are we ready to play You've Got Red on You?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. All right. First prompt. Um, we're gonna go with the standard prompt that we always do. Can you find on your shelves a book that does not get enough love? Ready and go.
There's so many.
Right?
There's so many.
There's
That's the
no wrong
problem.
answers here.
All of them. All of them.
I'm worried that I'm
Okay.
gonna have like a Tupperware moment where it's all gonna come falling on me. I have one. Okay.
That would play great on camera. Okay, here we go. So Grace, let's start with you this time, since
All
Wendy
right.
led the last one. What you got
I
for us?
I'm gonna start off with Midnight on Beacon Street by Emily
Ooh.
Ruth Verona. I put this, I have a bunch of piles around me because I was trying to prepare in advance. And we're very fortunate. Emily's one of our contributors actually to the anthology. But if you are not familiar, Emily Ruth Verona, she's an author in New Jersey, and this is her debut novel from Harper Perennial. And if you like nostalgia, like 90s horror, 80s horror, this would be your jam. It's dual perspective about a babysitter and a little boy at a house. And basically there's a body, something goes wrong here. So I would recommend if you like multi-timeline, that kind of thing, like please pick this up. This book is incredible. I think that and it's not a huge novel either, right? So you could finish this in a day or two. I highly recommend it.
That was such a great pitch. Did you prepare that? That
No,
felt like you were reading off a teleprompter, like hitting all the points you need to hit in a good
no,
elevator pitch.
I just love this book, and I also love Emily, so that's why.
Amazing. All right, Wendy, what you got?
My selection is Cool S from Di Booth. This one is a novella. It's a little shorty, and it's about the symbol, the interesting S diamond that all of us somehow figured out how to draw over the decades. And it's set. I think it's got like a 90s vibe. Like it kind of has a little bit of the craft vibe. Di
Hmm.
is an author from the UK. Di is also in our anthology. I'm a really big fan of their work. This is just such a great novella that I feel like more people should know about.
Nice. Spooky confessional time. I was a 90s kid, never could figure out how to draw the S.
Oh, well,
I
you
got
gotta
it wrong
learn.
every single time. It was like the six lines across, and then you connect them in weird ways, and I always screwed it up
That's what
every
study
time.
hall is for.
I didn't study. That was my problem. All right. So let's talk. We've mentioned a couple times this anthology that you two edited, and it is coming out very soon, right?
Mhm. Yes, next month it's coming out. We're waiting for when the hard date is out there, we will put it out to the world. You will know it, you will see it. We're just doing some last minute ribbon tying, so to speak.
Nice. Can you give us just the elevator pitch for the anthology? What is Poison Soup? What is the theme connecting all the stories in this anthology together?
Well, I think that the idea came from obviously the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. We wanted to do a horror riff on that. We wanted to create a collection that felt kind of like a warm hug, but also it's horror. And we wanted to understand people's first brushes with horror, what drew them initially to the genre, and at what stage, what was their inspirations, and so yeah, that was the genesis of this. And as we did the call, it kind of came together.
Hmm. It's
Nice.
a hug around your heart.
Nice. All right. And that, I don't know, that feels so antithetical to not horror people to have like cozy horror, but this is fully a genre, right? This is a thing that exists that people do
Well,
really
and even
well.
if you don't even want to call it cozy horror, it's still more of that people come to horror for comfort. And by and large, I mean, they do come to it to be feel unsettled or
Mhm.
scared. But if you ask every horror fan, they have their comfort book or their comfort movie, and that's kind of what we were
Mhm.
looking for here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna snowball off of that. That basically like horror is a safe space for so many people, and I think that's where the nostalgia element comes into it. Like there in the anthology, like there are definitely what I think people would consider cozy horror, but there's also like intensely disquieting pieces as well too. But it's all about invoking those original thrills that got us in love with the genre in the first place.
Nice. Well said. Way to take my misinterpretation and to fix it. Okay, I want to continue this train of thought though. So if this is kind of what the anthology is all about, then are you ready for the next prompt?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. Can you find me a novel or novella length work that gives Poison Soup vibes, in your opinion? What is a novel that could have fit in this anthology if that was possibly a physical thing to happen? All
Okay.
right, 30 seconds. Ready, set, go.
Okay. Yeah, I have one. Oh my goodness. I
Woo!
just because I just
Can I
finished it, and that's
can
why
I
I'm
cheat?
excited.
Sure. We're all about cheating.
I cheated. I cheated.
Yes. All right. That took y'all 13 seconds. Well done. Also, side note, this is the first time that we are doing like double whammy episode with two of y'all at once, and you are still just like crushing this little time limit mechanic that I invented.
We aim to be efficient. You told us our guidelines. We're on it.
You're delivering. All right, Grace, what have you got for us? Because I can already see it.
The Exorcist. Look at this cutie patootie, everybody. Look at her.
What about Reagan screams poison soup to you?
All right. To me, Reagan, The Exorcist in generals, it to me it screams Poison Soup because Poison Soup is an anthology that is meant to transcend more than one decade, more than one generation. And I think The Exorcist is a great example of that. Whether you watch the movie, whether you read the book is great, by the way. And this one goes in the dark. So if you can get it, I would highly
That's
recommend
awesome.
it. But yeah, I think that was one of the things we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure that the anthology was palatable to a large audience, and part of that was we didn't want to just focus on 90s horror or 80s horror, where a lot of people I think are comfortable with and familiar with staying in that realm. Like let's go back to the 70s, let's go back to the 60s in some cases. So I think that we got a really good I guess what is the word I'm looking for here? Just like a
A,
collection
a
of work.
brew.
A brew, thank you. It's a stew,
There it is.
a stew that hopefully anybody, no matter what decade you grew up with, that you'll find something like, oh my God, I remember that, like something like that. So that's why I'm picking The Exorcist.
Nice. Wendy.
So, like I said, I cheated and I picked Twisted Tales to Tell in the Night, the Halloween horror anthology that you co-edited and that I have a story in. Obviously, because it's got the illustration on the front that's reminiscent of Stephen Gamble and the scary stories to tell in the dark books, which Grace is doing over. And so I think that for me, this screams Poison Soup because for me, scary stories to tell in the dark is most definitely one of my first brushes with horror as a young reader. And also because the story that I have in here has to deal with Elvira, who was one of my first, inspirational influences as a kid for comedy and horror. And so, yeah, that's why this one.
Amazing. And I will piggyback off of that because I am intimately familiar with that anthology, as you suggested. Your story in that just evokes these feelings of staying up too late on Halloween and watching whatever late night specials were running. And like you said, Elvira and like Joe Bob Nowadays, and just like those specials that make you feel like just like cuddling up in a warm blanket and like getting into the spooky season. Cool. But your story was so great for that, was the point I was trying to make. All right. Speaking of editing anthologies, you just gave me the perfect segue to my next kind of like intersection. I wanted to talk to the two of you about co-editing an anthology together. How did the idea of editing this anthology together come about? What was your process like? Was one of you more developmental edits? Was one of you more line edits? Did you split it 50-50 and just split the stories up and see if they gelled at the end? Like, talk us through this a little bit. Where did this idea originate from? How did the two of you come together for it? And how'd you get it here to a month away from release?
Well, this was mostly Grace's idea, like the poison soup, the chicken soup aspect of it. But Grace and I have been friends for years now since, and I've admired her work for a long time. And over the years, we've always been like, hey, what if we do this together? What if we do this together? And I think we just wanted to do a project together because, we have similar tastes. And I think that that's one of the things that made it easy for us to work together is that as we were going through the selections, it was just kind of were immediately drawn to a lot of the same stories and knew right away that they were right for the anthology. So as Grace will tell you, there is a big spreadsheet that we had to live off of to organize everything because we had like almost 400 submissions. And so we've been working on this from the beginning of thinking about it to pitching it to publishers to where we are today. It's been about 2 years in the making, honestly. So.
Yeah, we love a good spreadsheet. We love colored tabs. Like I thrive in structure. So I'm thankful to Wendy for letting me do the spreadsheet. As for process wise, I think that we really try to not even just do 50-50. I mean, like yes, 50-50, but in terms of like we each had eyes on every single piece in this anthology. And I would say initially up front, we each took a batch and we were the primary edit, like line edits and developmental edits if necessary. And then before we would send it to the contributor, we would have the other person coming behind and add additional comments or it's like, hey, like I know I get a little too nitpicky sometimes. And like, so like, hey, like that's not totally necessary. Like it was open communication, I think is what's super important, especially when there's more than one party involved. And I think it was helpful that we both read every single submission as well, which is that's a lot to read.
Yeah.
And so like we would write notes to each other in the comments, like, oh, I like this for these reasons, or I'm not sure, like let's keep this one in our maybe pile. I like that. I think the hardest part was those final selections. Like you know about that too.
Yeah.
Like that's hard because you see something that's so wonderful, but you have to let it go because you have to think about the project at large.
Yeah. We've got 3 triangle shaped stories and we have room for 2 of them and like yeah, been there, done that. It is not fun. But yeah, okay. So let's kind of spin this into the last book recommendations. So I'll put 30 seconds on the clock,
Oh
and can
gosh.
you all find me one more book? This time, maybe a book that was just way different than what you expected when you picked it up. Speaking of kind of looking for certain things to fill an anthology and having them play different roles, what's a
Hmm.
book that you were like, yeah, I kind of know what I'm getting into with this, and then it was not that in a good way, preferably.
Oh
Ready,
boy.
set, go.
Ah, this
Ah.
is this is challenging. This is
Yes, I got a hard
challenging.
one.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. Ah. Oh,
Okay, I got one.
maybe this
We
one.
got 15
Okay.
seconds.
Ah. Oh no. Oh wait, no, I have one. Ah, okay, okay. Because I know you like this
Five,
one.
four, we did it. All right, three for three for both of them. Wendy, why don't you go ahead and start this off?
Okay.
Be fun.
I'm going to go with Night Games, which was co-written by Josh and Joey Powell twins. And Joey is the editor and owner of Maddox Media. And he asked me to blurb this book, and I was already familiar with Joey's work, but I wasn't sure how it was going to go with him co-writing with his brother. So the way that this book is that one wrote the first half and the other wrote the second half. And it's a very unique idea, kind of like a what's the all the kids on the island, what is it called, it's kind of like a Hunger Games
Okay.
meets the
Lord of the
game show.
Flies.
No, more like what's the game show, the Korean game show, Squid Games. So it's like a little
Oh,
Yeah,
bit
okay.
of Squid Games vibe, but it goes in a completely different and surprising direction. And also there's a whole lot of just social commentary in it that I was happy to see. And so I was not, I didn't know what to expect with this one, because it's, you never know what you're going to get with a book when it's co-written, but I think that they worked really well together making it work.
Nice.
So
We've got
Night
the whole
Games.
Dream Teams episode going on here. We got Joey and his brother. We got the two of you. This is good. Grace, what have you got?
I don't think you're ready for this jelly. Yee Yeehaw Junction.
Yes, Kayli. All
I
right.
I as I forgot I had put it in my stacks in here. I was like, oh no way. I know because I know that you read this too.
Yeah.
Um, so for those who don't know Kayli is an excellent author in the horror world. Definitely somebody who I hope gets a lot of love, especially from this book.
Yeah.
This book is dark. This book will
Yeah.
it will hurt your feelings. This book. I struggle to call it. It's like, is it Southern Gothic? Is it transgressive noir? I think it's a little bit of both. It's a book about it takes place in a place called Yeehaw Junction, Florida, in the late 1990s. And I'll just read the tagline to give
Yeah.
people an idea. Welcome to Yeehaw Junction, Florida. I'm Skeet. The date is June something, 1999, and I want to be a school shooter when I grow up. And like that's like terrifying in of itself because like you're like, what the hell am I going to read? Is this a manifesto? Like, please don't let this, like, what is this? And it turns out to be a story about these oddballs who live in a very unfortunately impoverished part of Florida. A girl happens to go missing in the area, and meanwhile, there's all these other conspiracies with the is it DDT? Is that what it was? Like for like
Yeah.
the mosquito repellents. So there's a government conspiracy happening all the while, and this odd family is like, you know what, we got to find that girl and make some money. And this whole book, I don't know, I don't even know what I expected going into it, to be quite frank. But I like Kayli, I like Kayli's work. So I was like, yeah, I will give this a try. And I was initially kind of scared. The first like chapter, I was like, what am I getting into? But I think this is in, if anything, it is a social commentary on these little like these dark corners of society where filth and just like inherent like putrid, like rotten decay, like of humanity and how we treat one another. Like it exists, it burgeons, like what the things that people do to survive, essentially. Like how it, uh, I don't know. Well, do you have any comments on this book, William? Like, I don't know how else to explain it without giving
I
things away.
yeah, I can't talk about the book's plot without giving everything away, but the vibes, like, so Kayli was a contributor to Punko's Horror,
Mhm.
the anthology that I edited earlier this year, and she wrote a story for a Slater Kinney song, and the entire short story is just this massive "what the is going on" of a story. So when she asked me to blurb a novel-length version of her works, it was just like, okay, I kind of know what I'm getting into, but at the same time, I do not have any clue what the hell this is about to be. And it was very what the hell in the best way. Like
It's an
just the whole way
experience.
through. Yeah.
It makes you feel dirty. And it's not like
Yes.
it's like it's interesting. We had a conversation yesterday with that involved splatterpunk and extreme horror. And this is neither. I would not say it's
No.
splatterpunk. I would not say it's extreme horror, but it's gonna make you feel like you want to take a shower when you're
Yeah.
done. Like you're gonna want to have some like alone, like a come to Jesus moment with yourself. Be like, what did I just consume? And look, but then you're gonna come away from it. You're like, I need everybody else to read this because I need them to see like what the message is behind it. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeehaw Junction.
Yeah,
It
Junction.
it just came out recently too.
Yeah, somebody else go read that book so we can keep talking about it like full spoilers. Um, all right. So this has been so amazing. Doing some sign-offs real quick. Wendy and Grace, everybody that just listened to this episode, all 10 of them, where can they find you if they want to know more about you? Where should they be on the lookout for Poison Soup? All of those things.
Well, I'm Wendy Dalrymple, and you can always find me on my website, wendydalrymple.com. I typically play on Instagram, sometimes on Threads and TikTok, and just keep a lookout on our socials for updates on the Poison Soup Antho. We are posting silly soup memes every day
Hmm.
until it's released.
And they have been fantastic so far.
Yeah,
The soup in a tree stump today
Oh, yes.
had
I
me laughing out loud at work. Oops.
somebody sent that to the account. I was like, that's wonderful. So that's the official call to action. If you see something funny that reminds you of soup, the anthology in general, just send it to the Poison Soup Antho account and we will, as long as it's not like super inappropriate, like we will share it. Like we will tag you. And it's community based.
I am so worried about what's about to slide into the DMs now.
I know. Yeah, I know. I shouldn't have said that, huh? Oh. But I was gonna say, yeah, so I'm Grace Reynolds. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Grave Reynolds. Like you're gonna dig your own grave instead of Grace. And my website is similar. It's gravereynolds.com.
All right. Thank you all so much for jumping on the episode, giving us these book recommendations. I hope everybody checks them out. I will put the links to all the books in the comments, including Poison Soup, right at the top as soon as I can find a link for that.
Yay.
But in the meantime, everybody get back to reading. What are you doing here?